Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8, but also for Season 9 as well. I don't know why I hesitated there. Anyway, Season 8 slash Season 9. So we are done with Season 8 of The Flash, coming to an end over the past, roughly 24 hours or so, I guess, from when this video will come out. Of course, to wrap up the season, we had the culmination of an almost season-long storyline, which is a rare thing since Eric Wallace has taken over as showrunner of The Flash, as he is a fan of the graphic novel format, where we have 2, sometimes 3 in the case of this season's storylines, and villains throughout the one season, which I'm a fan of. It keeps things fresh, which is important for a show that's gone for longer than 3 or 4 seasons. In the case of The Flash, 8 seasons now. Of course, in the finale over the past day or so, we had Thawne finally erased from the timeline off his own accord, which some would agree is pretty damn fitting that he deleted himself. But we, of course, also saw various setup for next season in a couple of different scenes as the season came to a close. And as you would expect, Eric Wallace himself did a good amount of interviews breaking down the end of the season, and in this video we will be going over one of them, which contains probably the best balance of questions and answers, at least from the ones I've gone over. But yeah, this interview contains some pretty interesting details and some name drops I was not expecting. But yeah, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we go over in this video, as well as you have a different opinion on something that, I give my opinion on. You might think, no, I think the sky is red. So let me know your opinions down there in the comments and any theories you have going forward. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, and you're looking forward to any of the stuff going forward, why not drop a like on the video to show your support. So yeah, this interview was with TV Guide magazine. This is the interview that we're going over, so there's the reference. Candace's Iris was absent for several episodes leading up to the 2-part finale. How did you approach writing the show without the co-lead in one half of the central couple? I've had experience doing this before, so it wasn't all that difficult. On Teen Wolf, we had to write over half of Season 6 without Dylan O'Brien and some other characters, and they were the heart and soul amongst obviously a lot of the other characters too. That really informed how I knew I could pull it off with Barry and Iris. The key is to keep the characters that's missing on screen alive somehow in a way in the character's mind. So, as you saw in 8:15, Into the Still Force, it was all about searching for Iris. Then Barry comments on it again in The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen. It's always kept alive, sometimes in the background, sometimes in the foreground, but it helps the audience understand, okay, the characters' inner lives are going on, but they still do miss the person, and it is still at the forefront of their mind, and that's how you really approach things, even though some people online completely disagreed with what Eric Wallace is saying there. You approach things from a character's point of view, so when the villain of the week or the problem of the week arises, which in the last 4 episodes has been Meena Dhawan and this original Earbud Thawne, when their threat came up, it was understood that Barry's not just fighting these people and then learning that they're allies and learning that there's a larger threat, he's also doing it with the weight of not having his lightning rod with him, and it adds extra stakes to the story, which is really, really exciting to write. The lightning rod thing is always a bit funny. They always constantly say that anyway. Now, the topic of Iris's whereabouts or absence, or just Candace Patton's absence or whereabouts, especially in this back half of Season 8, was it like a constant throughout, I'd say, most of the interviews that I've seen so far? I think all of them bring it up in some way, shape or form, through different wording. And in one interview, I can't remember which one it was, Eric Wallace says the episodes that Candace is available. Now, when you get deeper and deeper into a contract, you're able to negotiate how many episodes you appear in throughout the episode, and you can also just choose which ones you want to. Now, Candace this season was gone for 4 or 5 episodes. I don't know if she wanted that, or that's what Eric Wallace and the people decided. It's hey, well, you want 5 episodes off, we'll give you 1 here and then 4 in a row later on, and that means you can go away for a month and just have a holiday or whatever it is. I'm not too sure how the planning was. It felt a bit messy just because they just, as I said, they tried to keep Iris relevant in discussions throughout the episodes. But outside the Into the Still Force one, Iris was really hardly ever mentioned. So, and that was what frustrated some people. So hopefully going into Season 9, where we got that news that both Danielle Panabaker and Candace Patton are in Season 9 along with Grant, hopefully with Candace, it's not as weird as it was this season. And as I said, I don't know whose side it was on. Was it Candace? Was it the writing stuff that we'd rather just, she has all of her breaks in one go? I don't know. Maybe that will come out in another interview. That's a wait and find out. We saw all of the members of Team Flash level up, there's the term, in Season 8, Was having Iris break out of the time stone on her own your way of having her level up too? We knew the theme of season 8 was leveling up, and we knew everybody with powers would have to level up, so the non-power people that left Joe, Chester, and Iris, well, Joe levels up emotionally when he learns that his stubbornness is what's holding him back, not his retirement. Chester learns that his pacifism isn't holding him back at all, it's actually a strength, but what Iris had to learn was that she is the toughest one of the bunch, and she can overcome and be not just a rock for Team Flash, but she's is equally important as a lightning rod to Barry, as she is vice versa to him. They really are co-captains of Team Flash, if I can say that. So we just had to find a way to visualize that when we realized we were going to use the Time Stone, which was planted very early on way back in Armageddon to rescue Iris, it's very deliberate. We're like, okay, let's not have someone use the Time Stone to get her out. Let's have Iris go into the Time Stone and get herself out. Let's see her level up in that moment and realize just how powerful she is. Then you just come up with the visual around that, which is a lightning that has always been within her, that spark. She now blossoms it. Now, I like the fact that Iris worked herself out because I think if you watch my review, I think I said like, no, because I thought this throughout the episode as well. I was like, oh, well, Joe's going to get the Time Stone. He'll like, I don't know, rub it like a genie's lamp or something, and Iris will pop out. Like, I'm the genie, my name's Iris, but I'm just alive now, or something like that. But Iris got out. Now, it was the scene was a bit like, a bit, soppy. Like, oh, you can do it, Iris. I'm motivating you. My name's Damien Dark. That's what the scene was like, where you're like, I would rather Iris do that than just her be helped, like damsel in distress thing again. The issue is that first bit where the issue that they have with Iris as a character, they try to put her up on a pedestal to try and be on the same level as Barry. I'm like, Barry's one of the most powerful metahumans, if not people in the world. She's obviously never going to be on that level, but you got to make her a good counterpart to Barry. And that should be in the personal life, which they really struggle with. Now, there's an interview, it might be later in this interview, I'm not too sure. Actually, it is. I think it's the next question, but I'll mention it now. They need to work on the personal life of Barry and Iris, because all the time it's just like the over-the-top stuff. Can Iris, outrun a speeding bullet faster than Barry? It's like, well, no, because Barry's the Flash. He should be able to do that, not Iris. So they've got to figure that out. I don't know if they ever will. I mean, we're in season 8 going on season 9 of the show, and I'd say there's maybe like one season where they handled it half decently. So I don't think we're ever going to get that. So maybe that's wishful thinking. Let's see. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, whatever you want to call them. Let's hope. What does Iris leveling up mean for Barry and Iris' relationship in season 9? Well, first of all, more scenes with them together. I say that with a smile on my face, but I do understand fans' concerns. You see a lot more Barry and Iris together in season 9, and they're going to be happier and closer than ever and getting back to something that we haven't done in a while, which is seeing them face threats more together now. This would excite fans of Barry and Iris, but the thing is, Eric Wallace said the exact same thing heading into season 8. I need to preface that. He said the exact, I think literally you go to an interview towards the end of either heading into season 8 or after season 7, and you'd get pretty much the exact same quote. He said the exact same thing heading into season 8. So I'd take that with a grain of salt if you want more Barry and Iris scenes. Just letting you know. The finale marks the conclusion of the 3-season arc you conceived when you were appointed showrunner at the end of season 5. Was it hard figuring out where to go next in season 9 after following a plan? No, not at all. Quite the opposite. I'm enjoying a liberating process of, okay, we finished that epic 3-year journey, now let's just have some fun. It's actually freed up the storytelling and given some real freshness, even though we are obviously still keeping the graphic novel format, and there will be at least 2 new big bags, they say bags for some reason, big bads obviously, this year, so next year for season 9. This excites me. This excites me. Now, this means that maybe there could be 3 graphic novels, but only really 2 of them have big bads, and maybe one is a more, journey-driven graphic novel. There doesn't have to be like a big bad at the end of every graphic novel, though it helps because that's sort of like a motivation and pushes things as well. Now the only concern here is that like if there's, having more fun, like what does that mean? Because some people will, that can get a bit goofy. So it matters if they go, all goofy and stuff like that. That could maybe turn people off. But I think we have to wait. I think we have to wait until we get like maybe a hint as to who maybe one of the villains could be, because that can set a tone. But also just like a general feel of it. You never know, because tone, you can have a villain and you think it's going to be a dark season, and the tone can be completely different than what you're expecting. So this is a whole wait and see, and we've still got a while. The show, they don't give a release date, but it's probably not till January, maybe February next year. So still a while to go until we get any sort of hint as to what's going on. Speaking of big bads, the season ends with a shot of a glowing blue crystal as Barry says that the negative speed force will find a new avatar eventually. Am I right in assuming that's hinting at Savitar's return? I say tune in to season 9 and find out. I will tell you that the negative speed force is not going to wait very long to start searching for the new avatar to find them and to have that new avatar challenge the Flash for dominance. So don't worry, we will get the answer there. We will get the answer. Now, in my review, and I'm still going to side with it as like my top option, or option I want, is that the blue crystal leans into Cobalt blue. However, in my viewing, the first viewing, and where I wrote all my notes and I based my review off, I thought there were flames coming off the top of the crystal. But in reality, when I got to rewatch the episode, which I've done at this point before doing this video, it was just the reflection of the crystal. But it went by so fast after it lit up, I thought it was flames, but it's just the reflection of the lit up crystal on the glass around it. So this is the first time I've seen someone mention Savitar, and he goes along with it. He doesn't say, no, it's not Savitar. But maybe just because it was like an evil speedster and thinking of someone that could be associated with a crystal. I'm intrigued to see what it's going to be like. It's very important to remember that we have the whole blood work aspect of things going on there as well. Is he meant to be someone that's associated with a negative speed force? Leads into some like weird combo speedster with blood work, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think I've seen anyone say Savitar. This person says it in the interview, and Eric Wallace doesn't backtrack off that. So I don't know. Maybe chuck Savitar in the maybe pile. I'm not too sure. Do you have a bucket list of things you want to do if season 9 ends up being the final season? Well, first of all, I hope it's not the final season because there are so many more Flash stories to tell. I want to just lead with that. Secondly, as far as a bucket list, I told the writing staff the same thing. If you have a bucket list, don't wait. We need to be telling those stories every week. Don't wait until the final season or when you think it might end. We need to do it now. That's why we got to Bloodwork very quickly right out of the gate. That's somebody I wanted to see immediately. I wanted to see a new female version of the Mirror Master called Mirror Monarch. I specifically wanted to answer the question, who is Godspeed, the real true god of speed, which we did. My other bucket list thing, it's not even subtle, is right there in episode 815, Into the Still Force. I want to see Zoom and Godspeed team up and create havoc. So if I can find a way to pull that off this year, I am certainly going to try. I don't know if I can, but I have challenged myself. Also, discerning viewers, if they were to look back, there's one hanging thread from all 3 seasons since I took over as showrunner that I've literally been teasing, and it's not subtle. It's in there every year. I won't reveal who it is, but it's a particular storyline, and specifically a specific big bad DC villain. I'm going to try and get to it this year. I almost got to it last year, but then we didn't get 22 episodes. It's hard to fit all these things in when you have fewer episodes. And if I said bucket list wise, there's 2 things on my bucket list. One of them you've already seen, that's getting Zoom back to team up with Godspeed. And the other one is this unnamed character who I've been hinting at for 3 years now. Now, obviously, the Zoom and Godspeed thing we got in the newspaper, as he said in 815, that seemed like it was like an intentional planting of a seed. And if, they got to do more seasons, that'd be something that, Eric Wallace would be clearly trying to do. And that doesn't seem like it'd be an overly difficult thing to do unless you, if you just have the stun people running around, that's easy. It's more if you have the people under the masks. And of course, Godspeed lost his speed, I think. I'm pretty sure at the end of season 7. And Zoom, we don't know what the post-crisis Zoom is like. So that's another question they'd have to figure out. But the hardest thing would be if they actually have the people like Teddy Sears and Karan Oberoi, I think the guy's name was, that played Godspeed, or August Hart. It's about getting those actors back if they take off the masks. And I think if you're going to bring the characters of Zoom and Godspeed back, surely you bring the people that were under the mask back as well. Now, in regards to this other unnamed character who he's been hinting at for 3 years now, I don't know, because there's been a lot of things that he's hinted at. So I don't know what specifically Eric Wallace is hinting at straight up. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because there's been a couple of different things that he's referenced consistently. I don't know. Is it Cobalt Blue? I don't know. This is a big bad DC villain. I can't think off the top of my head who he's actually referring to, because there's been a lot of different references throughout the years. So that might be one of those things you have to sort of research. And I didn't do that before making this video. My bad. Might do it as a bonus video in the coming weeks. So keep your eyes out for that if that ever happens. Does the Season 9 plan still involve Bloodwork's return as teased in the comic Earth Prime number 6? I will say that those comics are canon and they aren't lying. Perhaps though, it's not in the way that people think if we were to do something like that. And again, I'm not confirming or denying anything. So we've talked about this in a couple of videos. At the end of Earth Prime number 6, there's a short story which involves Cisco training Tindia Wiseau at Argus. There's not a specific time frame as to when it takes place, It's just in 2022 at some point. But in that comic, there's a breakout at Argus where all different villains throughout Argus get out, and it's due to blood work, and he never gets put back in his cell. He escapes Argus completely, and it says that that's going to be continued in the Flash season 9. So that could be the blood works in one episode, or it could be in a series of episodes. We don't know. We just know that he's out there, and apparently it's going to play into the Flash season 9 in some way, shape, or form. After building up to this epic battle with the Reverse Flash, are you done with the character, or is there still more story to tell? Well, there's two answers to that question, and this is the honest truth. Number one, just like at the end of season 6 and 7, at the end of season 8, I never know when it's going to be the last season. I thought season 8 was going to be the end, so I deliberately said, alright, there needs to be the final battle between Flash and Reverse Flash through the birth of the negative Reverse Flash, and we got it. And then, of course, the scripts are almost all written when suddenly we learn the news that we'd got a ninth season, which we're super excited about. It was designed to be the final battle. I mean, the negative Reverse Flash is dead. I don't mean that in any subtle way at all. He is dead. Frost is dead. Those characters are gone. Now, having said that, just because the negative Reverse Flash is finally dead, that doesn't mean you've seen the last of Tom Cavanagh on our show. You never know when Tom will pop up. You never know. It's always in the most unexpected, surprising place. So, with that, it could be like some weird timeline thing where he shows up as Reverse Flash or Earbud Thawne again. Or, more importantly, Timeless Wells. Gotta remember, he's still Timeless Wells, you know, how many ever years it is in the past. So Timeless Wells can still play into things if they want him to, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they aim to do. But I don't think we'd be seeing Tom Cavanagh as much next season as we saw this season. Like, he was in, 5 episodes, 6 episodes this season. So he was in a good amount of episodes this season considering he wasn't a regular anymore. But I wouldn't expect that next season unless like Timeless Wells shows up for an episode here or there. And finally, is there anything else you want to add? I could tell you the end of season 9 right now. I'm not going to, but I will tell you this. This big, almost novel of seasons 6, 7, and 8 got pretty intense at times and dark, and it was sometimes kind of spooky. The next grand master plan is going to be a bit lighter and a bit more fun, and that's on purpose because I think we've earned it. Not only as fans and audience, but because I'm a fan of the show too, but I think there's some real fun to be had. And I like that. I know there's a lot of people that like the dark Flash tone, and I think that's mainly because the word fun can sometimes be seen as, can be associated with like, oh, being silly or goofy, as I said before. And I think you just got to get that healthy balance of what fun is. And that's always hard. Depends on who's handling it and also just the general people you involve around that story, like the villain and even the heroes as well as that. I don't think the Flash is necessarily in a good place in regards to the supporting cast around Barry, in regards to having quote unquote fun. But then again, I'm basing that off the experience of being set in this, you know, season 6, 7, and 8, where apparently it was dark and kind of spooky according to Eric Wallace. So maybe the characters come across much differently when it's fun. That's a wait and find out. I'm looking forward to this quote unquote fun period that's coming up. But I think, as I said much earlier in the video, I'm going to wait until we get the villains or some sort of feel on that tone through filming before I get overly excited or, you know, make my predictions on what it will be like. So I'm going to have to wait a bit. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. The link to the interview will be just linked in the description down below if you do want to go check it out. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it, shows support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions about everything we went over in this video. And if your opinions differ from mine, I'm always curious to read that. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.